Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Nature Patch. I have just done a little bit of a walk around the garden. It's about what is the time? It's about 2 in the afternoon on a Saturday, but I've done a walk around the garden and I've noticed just a few things that I need to fix up here and there that I've kind of let go and put in the back of my mind, and now I'm kind of paying for it because parts of the garden really need a little bit of work and tender loving care. So I thought I would just take you around and show you what I'm getting up to this afternoon. So for this video and pretty much most of my videos, I would definitely recommend grabbing a cup of tea. I have with me a lovely green tea today, and I hope you enjoy just the little bits that I'm going to get up to in the garden today. Hopefully some beautiful birds will be out and setting the scene, putting some beautiful noises in the background. I hope you're all having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I hope you enjoy this video. Okay, let's go. Okay, so I think that and the other area that you saw is a lot more tidy now. I've managed to put together a rubbish pile and donation pile, and now I think I'm going to get on to doing some jobs actually in the garden. But tea first. So I just finished plastering down all of this cardboard that I have here. And what I'm basically going to be doing is preparing for summer, because wow, I did not realize how many weeds would be around when spring and summer hits. So this year I want to get on top of all of the weeds on this property. Despite the fact that we are moving in a little bit, I'm still starting to see weeds coming up even now. Even throughout winter it gets a little bit much to deal with. So what I'm going to be doing is I have thickly mulched this bed here, and I'm finding that a lot of the weeds aren't coming up through this. The only things that are coming up are things like tomatoes from compost, which I'm totally okay with. And in here I'm actually going to plant zucchini in the next few weeks as it starts to warm up a little bit. But on the edge you can kind of start to see some weeds coming up on the edge. So what I'm going to do is just cut this into strips, or break it into strips, and then just lay it on the sides of here, and then hopefully tomorrow or maybe this afternoon, depending on how I feel, I am going to go and run and get some more mulch and lay this over here to weigh it down so that the weeds don't get too close to this bed and I don't have to keep pulling them out around the actual plants. They'll just be a lot further back. So I decided I did end up going down to the local hardware store, mainly because I just like going there to see what's down there, and also just supporting small businesses out. But I ended up picking up some mulch. So they didn't have a massive range down there, which I wasn't expecting a lot. Anyway, but I just got some pine bark mulch. This is just the decorative kind. My #1 gift on my wish list one day is to buy my own mulcher. And by mulcher, I mean like heavy duty mulcher. I don't want one of the really cheap ones that break after a few years. I want a really good quality mulcher, so that I don't have to keep buying mulch like this for little projects like this. So I'm going to pretty much just spread this over where I put the cardboard, and that'll just give a little bit more of a distinction between where I'm actually planting, where the compost part of it is, and where I want the edge of the bed to be. So I think that will provide a really nice buffer between this bed here and the weeds that come up here. The grass was pretty much like almost shoulder height in some areas of this garden, so I just want to take a little bit more extra care coming into spring this time to deal with the weeds in certain places where I am planting fast growing crops for the time that we will still be here. I'm not sure on here if I mentioned that I'm growing cover crops again for the next 3 to 4 months in this area. I definitely am a little bit on the crazy side for doing this, yes, I know. But I am constantly experimenting and I just wanted to see how it was going to go. So I'll turn you around and I'm in the in-ground garden here, and all of this little green fluff that's going on down here is all of my cover crops that are popping up. So I've still got my lily pilly in here that I'm going to be transplanting within the month or so, and my elderberry, whatever it's called, what are they called? Elderflower tree down there. But in here is a mixture of cover crops that I sowed. So this is a winter and autumn cover crop mix of brassicas, beans, grasses, legumes, which are beans, but you can see they're all starting to pop up now. So they're all coming out of their little seeds and popping up, and it is looking really beautiful actually. There's quite a lot of diversity in this mix. I also chucked in some turnips, some radishes, basically a bunch of different seeds that is going to work to create a little bit of structure in this bed for what I'm planting in here. So what I'm going to be planting in here is some beans, and how I'm going to be doing this is going to be planting a little seed around here and taking out all of the cover crops that's in this area and letting that seed grow up. So hoping that the surrounding cover crops I can slowly chop and drop as the beans grow and provide a little bit more nutrients into the soil. So the main reason why I'm doing this is not particularly because I want a really productive growing few months here while we're still living here, because I know that's probably not going to happen, and putting a lot of energy into that probably just isn't going to be worth it for the risk that I'm taking. But me being a scientist and always constantly experimenting, lovely sounds of noisy miners in the background. I hope you're enjoying that. As I was saying, it is definitely in my nature to experiment with plants and gardening. It's probably my favorite component of gardening. I love being able to harvest things, but ultimately I just love knowing how things grow and how to grow things. I'll let them calm down a little bit, then I'll continue. I'm gonna keep going because I don't think that those birds are gonna stop, so I'm gonna continue rambling right now. The reason why I'm doing all of these experiments and seeing what works in this soil type is because we're moving to a place with pretty similar soil type, which is very granitic soils, basically on granite bedrock in some areas, and I want to know what works. And what I have observed in this garden is that biomass is key. I need organic matter, and a quick fire way to get organic matter is through growing cover crops. I think I'm going to do a whole another video on kind of my ethics behind that and the ethical side of gardening that I have kind of started to delve into, and I find it really interesting a lot of the different ways that people garden. And again, there is really no right or wrong way to garden. I just like to share my experiences and what works for me, and cover crops is something that I'm really interested in. So I'm going to see how this goes by growing crops of beans surrounded by cover crops. I just got my order of seeds the other day that I ordered in last video or the video before, where I've got some beans, some bush beans that I'm going to be planting in here. So I'm going to see how beans grow surrounded by all of these different diversity of cover crops. The hope is that by planting all these cover crops, you're creating like a mini biome where different layers and different bugs are working together to pretty much keep the pests at a very low level. With an increase in diversity, you've got an increase in bugs. Bugs eat each other and tend to fight with one another rather than eating my sole bean plant that I'm going to be planting in here. If I didn't have cover crops, they'd all flock to that bean. Which I have observed in this garden. The plants that are closely surrounded by other plants do a lot better than those that are just by themselves. They pretty much die in this climate and these soils. So I'm really interested to see how this goes. I'm going to stop rambling because I have a lot of other jobs to get done today, by staking up some of these capsicums that are falling over, as well as digging out all the compost that I have in the compost bay. So I'm going to get onto that now. This is definitely a very sad pawpaw, but I'm determined to save it. do it. I believe in you. Like, it totally could be fine. You never know. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I'm gonna see how they go. Fingers crossed I have given some of those plants a new life. Also managed to get quite a few splinters while doing that. That's totally okay. I am now going to shovel some compost, which I don't know if you want to see. Probably something that I would want to see, but I think I'm going to wrap this video up now because I think it's getting a little bit long, and I'm just going to keep rambling if I keep going, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to stop, so I'm going to finish off the video here. I'll include a few really pretty flowers that have popped out in the garden just to wrap this video up on a nice little note. I hope you enjoyed this video of seeing me tidy up, get a few little jobs done around the garden. I really like filming these videos just to document the progress of this garden and to watch back on and to learn for future gardens. I've got a few more videos to film this weekend, one of which will be a garden tour, so keep your eyes peeled for that for my July garden tour. So thank you so much for watching this video and any other videos that you do watch of mine. I really appreciate it, and make sure to subscribe if you would like to see more videos like this, and always feel free to let me know in the comments down below what kind of videos you would like to see. These birds are just going insane right now. Have a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next video, happy gardening guys. Bye!